When you are trapped in a high-stress environment, your first instinct is to analyze every moving part of the crisis to find a way out. But staring at a tangled knot never unties it. To clear the chaos, the mental machinery must freeze, dropping you into a pressurized silence. Resolving a crisis requires stepping out of its architecture. Re-examine the trouble in your consciousness. You have to issue an authoritative command to override that reflex. You must radically sever all mental connection to the specific problem. Look at how these lenses catch the firelight. By staring straight into the flame, the shadows and the surrounding furniture blur into nothingness. You aren't fighting the dark, you are simply ignoring it. It is exactly like slamming a soundproof door. The specific nature of the crisis is banished from your consciousness. A difficulty relies on your mental energy to sustain its presence. Starve it of your attention, and it loses the fuel it needs to exist. Once the vacuum is created, you must flood it with the absolute. You occupy the newly cleared space with thoughts of a higher power. This section of the diagram maps the replacement thoughts. Because you cannot form a mental picture of the divine, you rehearse specific qualities instead. You systematically go over concepts of wisdom, truth, inconceivable love, and infinite power. Notice the shift in focus on the right. In this state, you are no longer the actor or the architect of the solution. You become a passive channel. Because the power is divine rather than personal, your human limitations drop out of the equation. Your exhaustion, your lack of capital, and your lack of training are irrelevant to the outcome. Surrendering the frantic plotting of the ego is the exact mechanism that allows a resolution to manifest. This process collapses if you fall into two structural traps. Both will immediately nullify your results. The first, shown here as a crossed-out blueprint, is outlining. This is the attempt to predict or plan exactly how the rescue will happen or how a debt will be settled. The second trap is glancing back. This is the obsessive compulsion to check if matters are progressing or if the pain is gone. Checking for progress instantly drags the trouble back into your focus. It forces you to think about the difficulty again, which breaks the displacement. To succeed, the dopamine hit of gathering metrics and tracking progress must be sacrificed for the discipline of blind trust. Ultimate success is defined here as the demonstration. It happens the moment you become so absorbed in the spiritual world that you forget about your difficulty for a time. The obstacle dissolves because it was starved of attention and replaced by the thought of a higher power. Look at this trading floor. It represents the peak of financial friction and material chaos. If you maintain the substitution even here, you remove your own interference from the process. When the mental currency required to fund the crisis is withdrawn, the material condition shifts to reflect the harmony of the thought that replaced it. This mechanism suggests that human focus is the anchor for material crises. Severing that anchor alters what follows. Identify the single greatest source of friction in your life right now. Is it the mounting debt, the bitter interpersonal conflict, or the paralyzing fear? Evict that problem from your consciousness completely. The true test of this absolute mental displacement experiment begins the exact, precise millisecond this audio stops.